I hear it all the time. People say you have to go out, you have to look at every single property to get an understanding of what the job is, what it consists of, and actually how to quote it accurately. And I gotta say, I don't agree. Now, 9 times out of 10, on commercial properties, I will go out, I will lay eyes on it, I wanna see what's going on, I wanna understand the traffic, the foot traffic, the parking, water, any kind of issues that we might run into that could slow us down and make it less profitable. But there are times when you can actually quote remotely if you know what you're doing. And in this particular scenario, we're at a property right now, Max back there, he's driving around to finish up the rest of the job. And this is the first time that I've actually stepped foot on the property. I was out of town. I didn't have the ability to come down, check it all out, and it's a sizable job. So I told the guy that I'd get him over an estimate. I got on QuoteIQ, I got on Map Measure Pro, I measured everything out. I used Street View to see exactly what we were dealing with. I did ask him some questions that were important for me to understand, and he was able to answer those questions. And I quoted the job. We got the job. We're here. We're cleaning it. I'm going to walk you guys through exactly how I quoted this job. And also, I'm going to share with you something that's really freaking cool. Obviously, we have InstaQuote on our website. This allows customers that find us online, go to the website, fill out the information, get an accurate quote. It's phenomenal, and it absolutely crushes for us. But we just added something new to QuoteIQ. It's free for anybody that uses QuoteIQ, and that's our virtual call team. And so all you do is you pay for usage, but I have programmed this so it actually allows my customers to call, talk to our AI virtual assistant, and it's not just taking down the information anymore. It can actually quote your customers for you. I'm gonna run through a call that I just got in the other day. The customer called, she talked to the virtual assistant quoted her, and she closed the job. Absolutely insane, so I'm gonna share that with you. But let's go take a look at some of the nuances of this job and what we look for, the questions that we ask, and how we're able to quote it remotely and accurately. What a terrible system.
Yep.
So one of the things that I always ask about is water supply. Very important for what we do for obvious reasons. He let us know that there were 2 on the front of the building that were functional, and there was 1 on the back that worked. So we already knew that we needed to bring a lot of extra water supply hose for as long as this building is. So I did put that in the notes when I scheduled the job. That way I don't forget the day of, and when Mac pulls up the job in the morning, he's able to see the job, he sees the scope of work, he sees any of the notes that that I put in there, the stuff that he needs, anything like extra water hose, if it's a rust removal job, to make sure you bring the F9 bark, if it's a degreasing job, bring the Gold Assassin, whatever the case is. This way we don't miss things, we don't forget things, we don't waste time, and we're able to do exactly what we promised to our customers, get it done efficiently and profitably. And as you saw, what we didn't know is this particular spigot, it had some kind of weird cap on it because the handle was broken off. So instead of fixing it, they just put this cap on, and the water was on all the time. So when Mac undid the cap, it was on full water pressure coming out, got wet, everywhere, kind of a mess. So this is what he has to deal with, at least on this end of the building. Minor setback, but not a big deal. So like I said, this customer found us on Google. And if you guys are not familiar with what's going on with Google right now, Google AI search has completely turned SEO and old websites on their ear, and things have completely changed. And it's really how Google is now presenting the search results. So now when you type in a question, AI results come first, then sponsored ads, then the map pack, and then organic. So if you're not ranking in AI search, chances are the customer is not going to get down to where you are ranking. And if you want to see what your AI search score is, I put a link down below for that. And it takes like 3 seconds to fill out the form, and it tells you what your search results are and what you can do about it. Regardless, this guy found us on Google, went to our website, filled out an InstaQuote, but because it was a commercial job, I needed more information. So it told him to call us. They called, I got the message, and they needed the building and the sidewalks cleaned. And like I said, I was out of town, but I do know how important it is to get back to customers really quick for any job, but specifically a job like this. I definitely would have gone out and seen this in person, but I couldn't. And he told me that he was getting multiple estimates, so I knew it was going to be a competitive situation. And I also know that the business that gets back to the customer the fastest is usually the one that gets the job. So if you're priced right and you built a little bit of rapport, then chances are you've got a better chance than somebody else that is late to the game, doesn't get a quote back, doesn't talk to anybody. So anyway, I open up the app. All of this customer's information information is already in there because he filled out the InstaQuote. It pre-populates, so I don't have to re-enter everything. But then I open up Map Measure Pro. I measure out the building first. It was about 45,000 square feet and some change. Then I measured out the concrete, which was just the sidewalks around the two sides of the building, and that was right at about 5,300 square feet. Now, I'm not going to show you what I quoted yet, but in the comment section, I want to know how much you would have quoted for this building and the sidewalks. And while you're at it, if you would be so kind as to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, it really does help us out. So there are a couple questions that I always like to ask on both residential and commercial. And like I said, this is one of the qualifying questions on InstaQuote and the virtual call receptionist that you're about to hear. And they always ask, how long has it been since the property was last cleaned? This just gives me some idea, especially since I'm not laying eyes on it, on potentially how bad it could actually be. But we do have Street View at our disposal as well within QuoteIQ, which definitely helps to fine tune the estimate. So I got all the measurements together. I sent off the estimate. He responded back pretty quickly that he wanted to move forward, and that is where we are today. This was a relatively simple job, as you can see. The building, it wasn't that dirty. There were about 6 units that had been painted somewhat recently, and they didn't want any pressure washing done on those sections, which was great. Speeds things up for us. There were 2 units that had their own pressure washing done on the sidewalk, so we were able to skip over those, but pretty straightforward. And then on the back of the building, because there was only one window, it was a relatively straight shot, no sidewalks to deal with. We knew that we could expedite the cleaning process by having one guy drive the truck, the other guy next to the trailer, spraying the chemical on the building the entire length, and then coming back after and doing a power rinse. They did the entire backside of this building in about 45 minutes. Now, the customer was absolutely thrilled with the job. They actually had an office on site and they were thrilled, right? Definitely a drastic improvement on the concrete. We knocked all the debris, the mildew, the mold, and all the other surface pollutants off the building. And we had multiple folks that were, tenants in that strip mall come up and tell us how everything looks so great, and they were really appreciative. This is the great feedback that we love to hear. Let me know how long you think it would take you to get this job done. And after I share with you guys the virtual call team and how we were able to sell a lady, quote her over the phone with our virtual receptionist, I'm going to tell you what we charged and how long it took. And just for reference, we have an 8-gallon per minute machine. We have an AR45 soft wash pump. That is what we used here. Water was not an issue because we had enough water supply hose, so that wasn't slowing us down. So I just wanted to give you that information so you knew what we were dealing with. And when I tell you how much it cost and how long it took, then you can kind of compare where you are at. Okay, so now I'm going to share with you the call that came in, and this was probably 2 hours after I set up the virtual assistant to actually give quotes the first time. And I'm going to continue to refine her, make her better. You'll see that the customer didn't know what the square footage of her driveway was. So we underbid this one just a little bit. But when I called the lady back, I got all that squared away. So we weren't underpriced. But it's all part of the learning process for the prompts that I'm building to get her to ask the right questions, give the right pricing, because it's all based on the pricing matrix from InstaQuote, just fed into the AI receptionist prompt. So after this call, I adjusted the way that we talked about driveway size. Now we say, is it small, is it medium or large? First time interacting with a customer, trying to upsell, I think it was a pretty good, job. She was pretty successful. So when a call comes in, I get an email notification, I get a text notification, and I get an in-app notification. I can pull up, and as you can see, there is an overview of the call, a transcript, so you can read everything from what was said. It also collects all of the customer data, and then the AI evaluation, which helps us determine whether it's a legitimate call or a spam call. And then, of course, the audio, which we're about to listen to.
All American Pressure Cleaning, how can we help you?
Yes, good morning. My name is Natalia. How you doing?
Hey, Natalia, I'm doing great today. Thanks for asking. Sorry about that. Go ahead, Natalia. What were you looking to get done?
I need to pressure wash my house, and I wondered if I can get an estimate how much it's gonna cost me, and the driveway included.
I can definitely help with that. For a house washing estimate, I'll need a few details. What's the square footage of your home? And did you mean you'd like the driveway included too?
Yes.
Perfect. So for both house washing and driveway cleaning, could you tell me the square footage of your house? And is your home vinyl, stucco, brick, or something else?
It's a brick house and 2 stores level, and it's about 1,800 square feet.
Got it. A 2-story brick home at about 1,800 square feet. How many years has it been since your last house wash? And for your driveway, is it concrete or paver? And roughly how many square feet?
The It's concrete. I'm not sure how many square feet, but it fits two cars. And it's been probably about like 5 years since the last residents power pressure washed the house.
Thanks for that info. Based on what you've shared, your house wash would be about $236 for the full two-story brick home. For a standard two-car concrete driveway, we typically add around $100, but with our 10% bundle discount for doing both, your total would come to about $302. Would you like to go ahead and schedule that?
Yes, please. Do you accept the credit card?
Yes, we absolutely accept credit cards. To get you scheduled, I'll need to collect a few details. What's your full name, first and last? And what's the best phone number to reach you at? Thanks, Natalia. And what's your email so we can send a copy of your quote? Also, I'll need your street address, city, and zip code. Perfect. And just to confirm, you're looking for house washing and driveway cleaning, correct? Did you want to add any other services? We usually offer
No,
bundled. Got it. Last question. Where did you hear about us?
from a friend.
Awesome. Someone from our team will reach out soon to confirm your quote. Thank you for choosing All American Pressure Cleaning, Natalia. We look forward to bringing your home back to life.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, Natalia. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll be in touch soon.
Thank you. You too.
Okay, so that was our virtual call team. I hope you guys liked the video. Let me know how much you would have quoted for that building and that concrete. And for that building and that concrete, it took us about 6.5 hours, and we ended up charging $6,800 for the building and $1,200 for the sidewalk. If that is in line with what you were thinking, let me know, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks, guys.